mantras, and I want to thank you all for being patient as we were having such a great time just chatting backstage. I am excited to be chatting with the author and tarot expert, Jenna Matlin, today. Jenna has been reading tarot since the 1990s. She is also a clairvoyant, a medium, an author, a speaker, a teacher, and a spiritual business mentor. So she's here for all of us. I am so excited. She is also the author of 3 tarot books: Have Tarot Will Party, Have Tarot Will Travel, and Will You Give Me a Reading, which we're going to cover a little bit today. And I'm also going to do some bibliomancy out of this book because we have a lot of readers in the chat. And so welcome, Jenna. It's wonderful to have you here. It's just, I've been looking forward to this all week.
Oh, me too. I mean, you had me on, I don't even know how long ago, but it feels like coming home to an old friend and an old audience. So thank you so much. This is wonderful.
Oh, that's great. I think you came, it was in November of 2022 when Will You Give Me a Reading came out. It's been
Yeah.
that long. I can't believe it.
Oh my God. Time just keeps getting faster and faster. I swear. I swear.
It does. It does. So, before we get into questions about the book, I want to say hi
Mm.
to our very patient audience. Let's see. We've got Thomas here. It is lovely to see you, Thomas. Thank you for the update on your condition. I'm so glad you're doing better. The lovely Jackies are here. Jackie Jacaranda is the hostess. She is like the best mod. I love her so much. She's wonderful. There's got to be at least 3 of her because she's on like multiple channels helping us all out. She's amazing. And she's a great reader too. Joyful Jen is here. It is lovely to see you. Hello, welcome, welcome. The lovely Scott, Scorpio Sun Tarot, is here. Ooh, Scott, one of the best chapters for you out of Will You Give Me a Reading? I was reading this the other day to just kind of catch up. And the best one for you, my dear, is A Guide to Self-Care for Those Not Great at Self-Care. That one's for you. Okay, that's chapter 15. Okay, because you are such a giving, empathic person. Okay. All right, we have let's see, just looking, Norm here. Norm Gilbert is here. Hello, welcome, Norm. Thank you for your patience. We appreciate that. Oh, and Hershey is here. Thank you so much for the positive Gemini vibes, Hershey. It's lovely to see you. Oh, Cowbell's here. Good to see you. This is Hello Stash Gerald. We call him Cowbell because you can't get too much of him.
Yeah.
He is hilarious. JR, it is lovely to see you. And for all who are too shy to chat, welcome to the show because I see there are many, many of you here. And yes, it is an exceptional book. Will You Give Me a Reading? So all of Jenna's links are in the description. You can also get her book, Will You Give Me a Reading, Where Books Are Sold. And I also mentioned her 2 other books at the beginning of the show. If you just go to her website, jennamatlin.com, you can learn all about her and everything she has to offer. She does this full time, guys. Okay, so she is like an expert, a businesswoman. And I would have guessed you as more of like a Queen of Pentacles until I read your description of the Queen of Wands in your book. And I went, I love that description of the Queen of Wands, like the older description. I mean, it's so Queen of Pentacles, isn't it? But it just fits. But
Oh,
anyway,
there's historical reasons for that.
I
Like,
know, I know.
yeah.
And she does this
Oh
on
my
her
God,
TikTok, you
holy
guys. It's
shit.
in the books, and you're actually doing a really great archetype on grandparents tomorrow, aren't you?
Yeah, that's
Yes.
right. I've been working on
Yeah.
it for a long time because tarot history is really messy, really messy. And so I've got some really great insights tomorrow. Like, I'm so excited. I want to share them today, but if I share them today, I won't have them tomorrow. So I've got to wait. But
Yes.
yeah, it's about where to find the grandparent archetypes through like historical tarot through time.
I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. Oh, yeah, I Jonathan and I are doing a show called The Boomer Mill. And so I like to take the different generations and assign them an archetype, like the kings,
Oh.
the pages, the queen, things like that. So I love that you take the time to do that and share that with your audience. I think it's really great. It is wonderful to see you, Amanda. Thank you. Oh, your energy is always welcome. I loved watching you on your show. You're doing great with your new channel. It's fabulous. I think you got 1,500 views on one of your videos. Congratulations. Brand new channel. That is huge. All right. So before we get to your all's readings, we are here to talk about Jenna's book. So I want to start off by asking Jenna, what were your beginnings, your inspirations? What initially sparked your interest in the tarot and in reading tarot? And how did you decide to pursue it professionally?
Yeah. So, a question I'm often asked is like, when did you know you were a psychic or whatever? And
Mhm.
it's always the wrong question. The right question is, when did you realize others may not be?
Mm,
And so I find that children gravitate towards where their strengths naturally lie, right?
Hmm.
So athletic kids are going to be in sports, they'll find their way to it.
Yes.
Musical children will find their way to it. And I think that's true for spiritual children, and precociously intuitive children will find their ways to these things often in childhood. And so, but formally, I was taught how to read palms by a friend's mother when I was like 11 or 12. And then I was gangbusters with it. But what people didn't realize was it was just really like clairvoyant readings
Mhm.
where I was holding the hand. It was doing more of that than the lines, because they'd
Mhm.
ask me, "Where did you see that?" And I'm like, "No," you know. And then there was just that natural progression of just kind of searching for different ways to deepen myself in that practice and express myself. So I have the actual day. The day I got my first deck was it was a little after my birthday. I'm a Gemini too, so hello Geminis. And it was I was with some friends on the living room floor watching OJ Simpson's White Bronco
In
run.
'94, I moved to Washington when that happened. That's
Really?
crazy. That was 30 years ago, like this
Yeah,
summer.
that's
Yeah.
the first day I got my first tarot deck. Like,
So you're
isn't that
having your
crazy?
Saturn return on your tarot practice.
Oh, that's interesting. I hadn't thought of
Wow.
that. Yeah.
Huh.
Wow. So, so then I did Muggle work. I've lived, I have a master's degree. I've lived in
Mhm.
other countries. But I found myself in a place where I just never did really well in an office environment. Like I just am not political enough. I don't know. I just never, it always felt like a round peg in a square hole.
Yeah.
And I got to a point, I had an awful boss, like a sociopath. I'm sure
Yep.
many people have had that experience. I was like, I can't do this anymore. So back in 2012, I was like, what's the thing I do best out of all the things? What's the thing that I'm known for in my life that I'm better than most people? And I was like,
Mhm.
I'm really good at readings.
Mhm.
Can I make a business of it?
Mhm.
And then that was it. And then I was like, wow, I'm more of a natural at this than I ever realized I was. I had no idea I had an affinity for business. I was always in the education, nonprofit kind of
Yep.
world. And I was like, I didn't realize this. Like I'm a natural fit. And it's been gangbusters since then. So that's my story.
Wow, that's amazing, and I'm sure a lot of we have a lot of readers in the audience here too, and we all have had our narcissistic bosses that just
Mm,
they tend to really nail down on the empathic types in the workforce. It's like they find us. It's like they're the shadow to our light. And I
yes.
love that you identified that.
Mhm.
It's being protecting our space and setting boundaries. And setting boundaries is a huge part of your book too. That's one of my favorite chapters is how to set appropriate boundaries, even with our readers and our listeners, because we can take on a
Yeah.
lot of that energy.
Mhm.
So, I mean, I'm sure you guys have dealt with that in the audience as well. So, oh, you're welcome, Amanda. I hope that was helpful. And Keith, I put you in the list. All right. So, in your latest book, will you give me a reading? What are some key takeaways that you hope readers can gain, especially those new to Tarot?
Oh, yeah. Well, I think that one major, gift of tarot is also its Achilles heel, and that is the nature of keywords. And
Mm-hmm.
so I I struggle with teaching tarot in a way that really allows people to, um, really lead with the intuition first,
Mm-hmm.
because often people will run to keywords as, like, the
Mm-hmm.
first thing, and it's
Mm-hmm.
almost like clinging to the side of the pool. But the
Mm-hmm.
words, if we do that, we're circumventing that
Mm-hmm.
more intuitive, nonlinear, spatial, relational aspect. So it's really a
Mm-hmm.
difference between right brain and left brain.
Mm-hmm.
So keywords, language, and like make it make sense, make it make logical sense is
Mm-hmm.
all left brain, where it resides in our left brains, which we already have a ton of training in.
Mm-hmm.
So most of us walk around because we live in a Western world with a very overdeveloped left side of the brain and a very
Mm-hmm.
underdeveloped right side of the brain. So it's very comfortable for people to always run to keywords because that's what we're trained to do. But that can actually circumvent how the right brain can bring us to so many insights.
Mhm.
So I would say, and what I do in my classes is make people give me readings with images that are not tarot because
Oh,
they'd have no keywords to go after. And then
interesting.
say, this is how you apply it to tarot, because you want to have that first visual layer of that, like, where does your eye go in the image? And it's important. It's not just random that you're just noticing this one little tiny thing in the
Mhm.
image that you never really noticed before. That is your intuition trying to tell you something.
Yes.
And we have to like allow that process to unfold before panicking and then running over to the left side of the brain,
Yep.
um, which means letting go of perfectionism and letting go of trying to get it perfectly right.
Mhm.
And I started watercolor paintings a couple years ago, and I just did one that was like probably one of the best paintings I did. And then I messed up one little piece of it, and I was like, like, yeah, I can't fix this.
Mhm.
And then I was like, but that's what makes it beautiful, because
Yeah.
it is a symbol of my attempts and the learning that I'm making along the way. And if
Mm.
I'm so hard on myself about getting it all right all the time,
Mhm.
then I don't allow myself the spaciousness of the journey.
Mhm.
And I feel readers need to give themselves the spaciousness of their journey, and also be gentle and kind with getting things wrong, because it's in that playful place that intuition resides.
Oh,
So,
we call that playing attention. That's something that came up during a show with Gerald, playing attention. And you described the combining the images with the right brain. One of the many reasons I have Gerald once a month on the show is that he can do that. And
yeah.
I'm very left-brained. I'm a Joy Tish practitioner. My best subject in school was math, according to other. So I'm very logical in my analysis. It makes me an incredible astrologer. But when it comes to tarot reading, I've taken a lot of classes and gotten a lot of coaching because it's something that I have to actively work on. It's like lifting weights for me. And so I love your description of using the right brain and visuals and images that are outside of the tarot to force you outside of that logical headset as well. And of course, one of my favorite parts of your book was the cultural and nonlinear time concepts, and then
Oh,
the light
yay.
cone,
Yeah, that's my favorite.
and then the brief history of time reference. I mean,
Yeah.
my left brain went food.
Yeah.
So,
I'm very middle brained, actually, very middle brained, which I think allows me to kind of play on both ends. But
mhm,
yeah, I think as tarot readers, if what we're doing is predicting,
mhm,
I think we need to really dissect and and just really reflect upon how do we think time works,
mhm,
while knowing that however we think time works is fundamentally wrong,
mhm.
and that in turn impacts the way we read predictive states.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So we're as limited to our imagination, right? So most people go, well, I want to know the future. And your typical spread, right, which is 3 cards, past, present, future, is
Mhm.
a perfect allegory for the Western model of time, that they're distinct from one another. They run from left to right, and they're all on the
Yep.
same plane.
And if you look at Indian philosophy or even the Torah or things like that, it's the other direction. You mentioned that. I
Yeah.
love that. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Or what if you are from an indigenous community that has cyclical time? Then how
that's
would you
true.
read that?
Yep.
So, um, and then the idea that there is a prediction that is to unfold, and it's a train on the track that we're just looking at, but
Mhm,
it's not like that, because you have the many worlds theory, which is it's really about looking up at a tree, and
mhm,
from the trunk you have all the possible possibilities.
mhm.
And so then why is tarot plucking one of those possibilities to talk about? Because it's not the objective. Because the moment we speak it,
Mhm.
it changes, because
It
now we're
does.
aware of it. So
Mhm.
it's like the ghost of Christmas future, isn't it?
It is.
So
Yeah.
then is the future that the ghost showed Scrooge, he was wrong. So then it's a
Okay.
manipulation, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Wow.
Right.
Look what she just did, guys. Oh my gosh.
So that's that piece, which is the Ghost of Christmas Future wasn't actually the future at all because he changed the future. So then it's kind of the snake eating its own tail.
Yeah.
Where do we slice that? And
Hmm.
as a reader, then it becomes, oh, the future is a manipulation to do something else in some way. And I think that that's really thrilling to think about in your readings. That makes you a better reader and a better conveyor of the reading to others.
Oh my goodness. We only have two questions and we're 15 minutes in. So I'm just going to cherry pick a few of these based on some of the questions the audience members here. This is gold, you guys. We got to have her on again. Okay. So let's get into psychic abilities. So you mentioned that you were psychic from a very young age. How did you integrate your psychic abilities with tarot readings, and how do you explain this integration to skeptics?
Yeah, so I think being really young and learning how to do this really young really
Hmm.
benefited me because I was too young to realize how I could F someone up. Like I wasn't self-conscious enough of the social stuff
Yes.
yet. And so
Hmm.
that allowed me to knit them together, but it did take work to knit tarot to the psychic ability piece.
Hmm.
But I think to the point I said earlier, it was like about like one of the things is watching your eyes and going where are my eyes going and what are they
Hmm.
telling me? Sometimes images will shift on me or faces of court cards and stuff will shift. I'll notice them have a different expression
Interesting.
or different emotion than I normally do. So it's a bit of a form of scrying in some way. And if we could think of
Interesting.
tarot cards as these little crystal ball cards where you scry, what am I seeing? I think that's a good way to start because it is very visual. So people that have other kind of psychic systems, it may not be as quick of a match, but I think it can also happen. In terms of the skeptics, I'm really not interested in explaining anything to them because I mean,
That's very swords. I like that.
well, it's been scientifically proven. The
Hmm.
issue is not that it's not true. The
Hmm.
issue is that it's not consistently reproducible
Hmm.
and it's career suicide to study it. So what we
Okay.
have is a bias issue, not a this is wrong issue. And there are some scientists out there that have done that work. I mean, you guys can all Google Jimmy Carter publicly saying in a news conference that they found a downed plane from a remote viewer that was working for the CIA. You can
Hmm.
find it. It's here.
Hmm.
It's not
Yeah.
AI. Like and there was like Rupert Sheldrake, like he does a lot of work on morphic fields and psychic phenomenon and how
Hmm.
psychic phenomenon can influence and impact morphic fields. So the work has been done.
Hmm.
So skeptics are they're not coming in true skepticism, which means I need you to prove this to me. It's already been proven. They
Yeah.
just don't want to admit it. And so then we
Hmm.
have a prejudice problem
Mm.
and maybe an ignorance problem. And so if that's where they are at, I'm not interested, honestly.
Mm.
To their fault. But when they die and then we do mediumship, they'll come back and tell me, they're like, yeah, yeah. And I'm like, yeah,
Whoops. I mean, I get a lot of when I tap in and someone actually comes in from the other side. I find that a lot of males, especially if they passed young, they get a real big wake up call to the divine feminine on the other side and how it's being
Mm.
ignored in American culture. And that's
Ooh.
been coming up especially more prevalent in the last, I'd say, 2 years.
Oh, that's really
So
fascinating.
yeah. So I just made notes on that. There's a book I follow called Concentration and Meditation, and it's just paying attention to each of the readings and seeing the different thematic elements that are involved in the collective, and then looking at them from an astrological point of view.
Oh, that's really
Um,
cool.
I love the way that you described the critics because that's my approach. I tend to have more of a scientific approach. It was Stephen Hawking's, Einstein, Joytish practitioners that really got me into the development of my psychic gifts because I come from that very like left brain perspective, and then I'll shift over to right.
Mhm.
So I tend to like look at the equations, look at the formulas, look at the patterns, identify them, and then when I see them out in the wild, it's like that's cool. So it's yeah, I love that approach. So we are getting to your questions. I'm seeing a lot of them come in, and I'm going to use a little bit of bibliomancy in addition to tarot cards, using some of Jenna's methods in the book. But I want to get one more question in. Are there any upcoming projects or new books that you're
Mm.
currently working on that you can tell us about? Other than the 3 books that you have, the classes on your site, and if you go to JennaLatlin.com and visit her YouTube page, you can get all caught up. Okay.
Yeah, I'm rerunning Speaker of the Deck. That starts October 7th. It's 8 classes, 8 workshops, and then so you get the lessons ahead of time and all of that, and then we meet and workshop. So you can sign up for that. That's on my website. That's what's going on.
Okay.
I am in the midst of starting to pull together my next book proposal, so I can't speak on it just yet. But it's going to be really exciting and really innovative. And it's about an area that there is no book bridging this area. So I'm really excited about it. And I've been working hard, but with a book, it's like hard. Like, how do I put this all together? It's this, what's the voice of the book that's beyond just an outline, and so it takes me time to kind of find that, and I'm kind of in the middle of doing that right now. So I'll probably be working on it on the book itself within a couple of months. Yeah.
Oh, that's exciting stuff. Well, we'll definitely take a look at that. And if you guys do go to her website, you can follow her on TikTok, YouTube. She's everywhere. Meta. Jenna is she's amazing when it comes to getting her stuff out there. So please go ahead and follow her. And everyone's saying that you're amazing in the chat. So we yeah, we appreciate you. And Keith, we went ahead and put you on the list.
Hoc, I'm like, I'm like, okay, I've got to research, and then I go away, and then I come back. And I'm like, it's just, I'm not as consistent as I should be, but.
Well, I noticed that I put a lot more into my social media before my business got busy. So you can tell that there's less on social media now, and we don't really care about the numbers because the business is going. So
it's fun to watch that with newer readers. Like, I'll see readers making gangbusters, like on TikTok and stuff, and like really these big numbers, and then all of a sudden they're very hard to get a hold of. They look very tired. I'm like, aha, yes,
get the numbers.
Yeah. Exactly.
It happens to us for sure. Yes. All right, Rachel, I got your question in. And Jonathan is here. Aloha, Jonathan. Welcome.
Jonathan.
And Miss Moonlight is here. Miss Moonlight gifted me a deck yesterday. Thank you so much, Miss Moonlight. I'll have to go to the P.O. box and get that. That was so sweet of you. Stacy is here from your channel. Welcome, Stacy. It's lovely to see you. BD, I went ahead and got your question in. Debbie, lovely to see you, Debbie. She's saying hi to everyone. All right. And she says, I learned when you were talking about mistakes, I learned this lesson when making my costumes. Mistakes are just personal touches and gives its own charm, for sure. For sure. I love that. Sometimes mistakes can be beautiful.
Yeah. Isn't it the Amish, like they quilt and they make an intentional mistake in the quilt because only God can be perfect? I like that idea a lot. Like
they do native weaving too in loom.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
Beautiful. And then, well, thank you for jumping channels. We appreciate it, Jonathan. And thank you, Jackie. So Jackie went ahead and put Jenna's website. So go ahead and click on that, and you can follow all of her amazing stuff. Yeah. And yes, okay, Rachel, it's good to see you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So, oh my goodness, I am so excited to actually show some of your methodologies in action. I'm just going to let everybody know because a lot of you do ask general questions. I start with my karma cards because that tells me what's going on for generals. But Jenna does have an excellent chapter in her book on how to ask questions and how to kind of probe your listeners for questions as well. So if someone says, may I have a message from my guides? That's a very general question, right? So there are things that you can do to prompt a better response or answer, especially if you have a shyer client. And that is half the work is in the question, and that's on page 79. So this is just a treasure trove, guys. Whether you are brand new to tarot or you're just you've been doing it for 30 years, like Jenna, professionally. It's can you believe it's been 94?
I don't know if it's on Audible. Like I get kind of told ad hoc. Like it's not really once it's in the publisher's hands, they do stuff. So I don't know. I did find out it was translated into traditional Chinese, like a Taiwanese publisher.
Ooh,
I found out a Polish. It's going to be in Polish soon, but I find out kind of ad hoc, and maybe I get a book or not. But I haven't been told anything about Audible yet. I hope so. Oh, yeah.
okay.
Jonathan and I, we've been friends since university. Is why he's mentioning that. And we were reading tarot back then, huh, Jonathan? Yeah.
Oh, I love seeing you guys paint together, paint and do tarot.
Oh,
That was fun to watch. And you and Heather
yeah.
and Jonathan, that was a great show.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, and I love all the birds that you create too, because I'm big on bird watching as well. So
Oh,
you have those
I'll send you a
beautiful.
picture of the one that I was just talking about. I think you'll like it.
Oh, awesome, awesome. Okay, so we are going to get to your questions. We have Nancy and then BD
Mhm.
for our tippers. So we're going to start with Nancy first, and then let me know and Jonathan know if you guys tipped and we missed it. Okay, and then we're going to get to lightning round, so we get to everybody. All right, so let's go to our first question. Jonathan's good. We have 7 so far. Woohoo!
Cool.
So Nancy says, "Hi, ladies. I want to see if a new job opportunity will come my way this year. I work in a toxic job now and doing my best to manifest a new one." I'm a Virgo. Okay, so Nancy, I don't know if you're sidereal or Western Virgo, but the sidereal Virgos are getting hit with eclipse energy right now. So that's just something to mention. If you're talking about Western, then you're getting hit by Saturn. So that would be the energy that's hitting you. Saturn would be blocking you, and the eclipses would be causing the crazy, unbalanced kind of energies in and around you. Okay. Also, letting everyone in the audience know that Venus is about to go into debilitation and is also eclipsed by Ketu, the South Node, which is going to cause some issues with money and relationships and things like that. You guys can follow that in the shorts. Mercury is in Gandanta today, so if you're mishearing what we're saying, that's the reason. He'll be out of the Gandanta by the 5th. That's a spiritual knot between Cancer and Leo. And then Saturn is currently aspecting the sun. So if your ego's a little hurt, that's what's going on. So I'm just preparing everybody in the audience for the astrological energies that are hitting all of us right now. And that's specifically, Nancy, it's either Saturn or the eclipses that are affecting you. So, all right. And you can go at any time, Jenna.
Oh, okay, great. So I pulled 3 cards for you, Nancy, and we have 10 of Pentacles. We have 2 of Cups, and we also have 3 of Wands. So as I was looking at these 3, I feel like it looks really good for you. And I think it's going to be something you like, but it is going to take you out of your comfort zone. 10 of Pentacles to me suggests you have been in a position or working for the same place for quite a long time. And maybe you've gotten a bit comfortable. This is going to get you out of your comfort zone in a way that you're not going to be too sure. You're like, oh, can I do this? It's either that or there could be a travel or a commute aspect, or even a relocation aspect that might be considered with this. And I feel like the message is definitely give it very serious consideration, because it's a position that if you push into your comfort zone, it looks like it could be something that feels really connecting with a great team that you'll finally feel like you're working well with, and not a team that's kind of shut you out and scapegoated you. And that's the reading.
Great, thank you. We hope that was helpful, Nancy. Now, the first card I picked was Virgo. Okay, so that's you. And then I got the 3rd house. So they're asking you to communicate, make some contacts, maybe, because this is the same as like picking up the phone, doing some text, doing some research, communicating, using that beautiful Vashuddha energy. Like I said, Mercury is in Gandanta today, which automatically that affects Virgos. So try to just kind of lay low and do some introspection today. Maybe, if you want to wear any of the stones that help you keep your intellect at top shape, because that's that 3rd house energy that is supported. The main card that I got for you was the 6 of Pentacles reversed. Okay. So this is my avoid being cheap or overly generous card. There is an imbalance of give and take regarding the new job opportunities that you're looking at. You may be feeling a little down because you may have a dream that hasn't materialized yet, despite your best interests. You may have withheld assistance from someone in the past, and you could be experiencing some guilt and disappointment there. But remember that feeling deprived or stingy creates negative karma for the future. So if you have this energy in and around you in the workplace, like you're being too generous or you're being a little stingy, know that there is a balance of give and take that needs to happen. Okay. An example of an imbalanced work environment is if you are finished with the things in your inbox for the day, if you're working a desk job, for example, and someone wants to leave early and then puts their pile on top of yours and just walks out the door, okay, that's a sign that you are giving too much to other people in the office if they feel that they can do something like that. The opposite is true. So while you want to help people in need, be cautious not to allow yourself to be taken advantage of by overly needy individuals and vice versa. Some people might be jealous of you due to their own unfulfilled dreams. So practice discernment in your giving and don't let it turn into being either cheap or resentful, because it can go either way. So I know that that's a dynamic for a lot of us in the workplace, but let people do their own homework, especially in their own jobs when they're there. And that's the main block that I see in any job that you take. So that's the reading, and I hope that was helpful, sweetie. Okay. All right. And I'm not going to give you a personal story. I usually do that. And I read in Jenna's book, she's like, back off on that. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
That's really good advice. It really is.
hard.
And I pull clarifier cards too. And I stopped doing that and then doing side spreads. It's just another really good tip that I learned. So
Oh, thank you.
You're
so
welcome. You're
sweet.
welcome. Well, it's the truth. So, good to see you, Heather. Welcome, welcome. It's lovely to see you. Yes, we were just talking about your live painting session. That's awesome.
We should do that again. It was so much fun.
For sure. And Keith, I went ahead and put your question in the queue, so please be patient. And you're so welcome, Nancy. It's lovely to have your energy here. We really appreciate it. So BD and then CEV12 are our next two tippers. Okay. Yes, she is great. Yeah, my audience loves you. Yes, I knew they would. I got such great cards. So
I'm like the new heart is like kind of like that, right?
Oh yeah, Gerald can make them come out.
My hands are too round. I can't.
And yes, she is very down to earth. We love that about Jenna. And Rachel, I will go ahead and star your question. I did not see your tip, so we'll make sure Jonathan puts you in the private chat. Thank you, Jonathan. Love you. All right. He's my Tekananda behind the scenes. So he gets the trolls and the questions for me. So question, please. When do I reach my goal and what is my path to it? Okay, so this is a really good opportunity to expand on your question, BD. Okay, so this is a little bit of a general question. So Jenna has a really good chapter in her book, and half the work is in the question. It's on page 79.
Yeah, I want to know what the goal is.
What's the goal? So yeah, what is the goal? What else do you say here? Reasons to avoid a general reading. Oh yes, preparing the querent. So it's like, this is an example she gives. So what brings you in today? Oh, just stuff. Reader. Oh yeah, what kind of stuff? Oh, about my love life. About what topic? How about the question? Well, just how's my life going to go? Okay, so it's a kind of a vague question. So how can you add to that, BD, to kind of help us get to a more specific answer for you? While you put that in the chat, we're going to go ahead and pull cards for you, okay?
I want to wait to see what she says before I pull cards.
Yes.
I had someone sign up for, I do charm castings. So I had a 30-minute charm casting special, and it was a new client. And I was like, just so you know, this is a general reading. If you have burning issues, this is not the approach. And she's like, yes. And then we're doing the charm casting, and I'm talking in like really high level kind of about themes and energies and all of that. And she goes, wait. But what about and then she asks a very, very hyper specific burning question. I was like, we should have done that. Like, because readings either can have a wide angled lens or a very narrow lens.
Yes.
So for me, it's about listening for how I need to approach, which lens are we using? And that's part of the question. Okay.
Well, it doesn't look like BD is. BD, are you here? I need my cowbell. So I usually like Gerald to ring a cowbell to get people in. So we hope you're there, BD. Let us know. Otherwise, we're going to give you a general instead of a specific. Let's see.
Man, you were so good at working all these like windows and things.
Yes.
Like, I'm like,
Oh, Christine, we see you there. Thank you so much. Yeah, because there's a lot of levers back here. So.
Yeah.
Okay, BD. So I'm not okay. Oh, it's just a personal goal, fate and effort. I try not to jinx it by telling people. Oh, so all right, interesting.
Why would it be? Oh, is it a wish?
And well, it involves Venus. So wishes are very Venusian.
Okay.
Well, I'll start off with the karma cards because that's what helps me get a little closer to the answer. I got Capricorn, and Capricorn is all about, and then I got Venus. So Venus and Capricorn is not the happiest combination because Venus likes luxury, Venus likes relationships, Venus likes money and candy and good things. Okay, but the Capricorn energy takes away some of those things, and it's asking you to be a little bit more practical when it comes to your life and the way that you're moving forward, especially when it comes to your relationships. And you might be feeling a little blocked there too, or a little practical. Um, the main energy that I did get is, and I think I'm getting this from the question, Jenna. I got the Nine of Wands. Like you're a little guarded, and the question's a little guarded, and you're not being as specific with this about it. So you're on guard regarding this goal, and this tells me that this is my wounded warrior card. So this tells me that you might have been a little wounded from the past. But okay, what are you guys saying? All right. All right, I'm going to tap into you a little bit. So if you feel they said it was okay. If it's not okay, let me know because you are on guard. You're keeping me out. I can't feel what you're feeling. And if you don't want me to feel what you're feeling, please let me know. Okay, there's definitely some anxiety around this because my stomach just flipped. Okay, I'm going to step back. All right. Um, you possess a very deep well of inner strength, perhaps even greater than you realize. Okay. Tap into this strength to stay disciplined and focused on what needs to be done regarding your goal. Avoid any excessive behaviors and negative influences around you, such as heavy drinking, drug addiction, etc. It's important to steer clear of any extremes, including people who are involved in these extremes as well. They're saying, imagine yourself as a soldier following orders, and this visualization can help you stay committed to a very challenging task of endurance that lies ahead of you. By believing you have no choice to follow through, you increase your likelihood of success. That's the main energy that I got. I did identify a block. Okay. The main block that I got was the Ace of Swords. Okay, so mentally you might not be as clear regarding this particular goal or objective. This is my card for, maybe forgetting things, not necessarily, I don't want to say this appropriately. You're not necessarily in the right mental headspace right now in order to move forward because they're showing me that you are extremely guarded from that Knight of Wands energy that I'm seeing. Okay, you have every reason to be guarded because you did go through a trauma. Okay, but working through this trauma and seeing it for the reality that it is can help you punch through this goal because you don't want fear blocking you. That's when my stomach flipped. Okay, so tone down on any pushiness that you're putting against yourself. Okay, beware of creating any self-fulfilling prophecies. Fearing that someone, including yourself, may not measure up to the challenge will only give power to those more negative thoughts. And if you're unsure about expressing yourself due to that fear of reception, because I'm really feeling this in my stomach, it may be best to just kind of remain silent. And that's probably why you're holding back from us. So blindly following a plan, goal, or person is never wise. Listen to your gut. It's healthy to have doubts about your question, even with someone that you admire. So don't succumb to any forceful types of persuasion without critically evaluating the intentions behind it, because the intentions are not that great. And I know that you can feel it in your gut because I can feel it. Okay. I hope that was helpful, BD.
All right, BD. So your question was, when do I reach my goal?
Yeah.
And follow-up question is, what is my path to it? So I'm going to start with part A. When? I'm sorry, but the answer is you do not. 10 of Swords. And I pulled all these before she did, so there's no colluding here. But when I look at this card, I'm seeing also the door open, and there is the sea, and a sun. Is the sun rising? Is it sinking? That's always the eternal question of 10 of Swords. So it's not that the goal in of itself in some way is intrinsically barred to you, but there could be a goal that may not be even good for you if you get it. And there is a reevaluation of goals. So that is kind of that complicated message. Now, part 2, what's my path to it? I got Knight of Pentacles and Judgment. These two together really speak to me of what is the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing and hoping for a different result. The reading is clear that in order for this impasse to be cleared, there requires a radical shift of effort from your part. You might be playing too careful, too cautious, too slow, or holding on to something that isn't really for you. And Judgment is like, there is a big lesson in all of this, including said goal, and that the goal you have in mind is smaller than the goal the universe has for you. And it's time to level up, girl, because that's where your freedom really lies. So for me, Knight of Pentacles can often mean like a freeze response or a dissociation, or if you're like falling into fantasy land and not really working with objective reality, it's time to get your feet off of the horse and back onto ground. That's going to be a huge shift. So I say all of that with love. But yeah, it's a bit of a tough 3 cards, but it's not barred to you. Something better than even what you're imagining is there once we let go of this in some way.
Oh, I love that. Getting off your literal horse and just taking that new direction. And that was wonderful. Thank you, Jenna. And whenever we get the swords cards, it's usually something mentally that's blocking us. So maybe doing some meditations or different exercises, mantra practice, japa, pranayama, things to kind of get you in a better headspace so that you can choose directions. And if you start pulling the Hanged Man, you know you're on the right path. That means that you're starting to shift that perspective.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, BD, thank you so much for joining us and for your question. We hope that you're well, and come back and let us know how you're doing. So we have CEV12 and then Christine, and then we'll have Rachel. All right, so CEV12. Let me find your question, and thank you for being patient, everybody. Okay. Hi, may I have a mediumship reading for my cat Mitz, please? Oh my gosh, you picked the perfect reader for this.
No, I don't do mediumship in this format.
You don't do mediumship in this format?
Not in this format. And my apologies.
Okay, no problem.
Whole thing, and it's hard to bring in and out and boundaries. Okay. But I would love to read in a more formal manner. But if there's another way I can do some readings for you and your grief journey, or even asking questions, are we going to meet again, or what were the lessons, I'd be happy to do that for you. But an actual mediumship I don't do in this format. I'm sorry.
Okay, good to know. Thank you so much. I pull cards before looking at the next question, so I got really, really good things for your kitty on the other side, like really great things, like amazing things. Okay, CEV12. First I got is Venus. Your cat is incredibly happy, like just all of the wonderful things that they loved in cat form, they're loving on the other side. Then I got the Four of Wands. This is the Count Your Blessings cards, the marriage card. Your kitty is surrounded by a radiant aura of optimism, supported, validated, proud of all of the accomplishments they've made as a soul, because they take on different forms just like we do. So they're celebrating a completion of a very specific project that they did in your life and in the lives of the humans and other animals that they touched. So I don't know if you have an important anniversary or a birthday coming up, but they're likely to be in attendance because they truly appreciate all that you have done for them. Even in the face of the challenges that they knew you were facing, you were still very loving. So there may be a lingering worry about losing this particular entity in your life, but trust that they're surrounded by good fortune and positive energy. And just take a moment to express, your gratitude and feelings for this beautiful soul in your life, because I tapped into them and they're beautiful, beautiful, beautiful soul that helped you really overcome a lot. And then I got the Page of Cups. So they're going to be sending, different signs, things like that.
That's great. Yeah, that's great.
And the fish there is kind of fun. You know how much cats love fish.
What a playful kitty Mitz was.
Very much.
Yeah.
So Yeah, so listen to your dreams, approach life with gentleness. Know that this is a very, very happy kitty cat on the other side, and they can send you those beautiful little messages because they're very good. They're very good for kitty. So, and if you ever need a Prajna chart or anything done, I do Prajna charts are charts of the moment, and a death Prajna tells me the legacy that someone, an entity, or a soul has left behind. I did one for my dog Fox, and I found it to be extremely healing because it showed me, where he was at, and it gave me some mantras to help me with the grieving process. So,
I would like to add something. Like for me,
of
a
course,
mediumship is a whole thing.
yeah,
But
I'm not a
for
medium
you,
or a reader,
yeah,
so
no, it's
yeah.
okay. I want to do it, but it's like they got to bring them in, and it's like this whole
Hmm.
thing. That's a whole other show. But
Oh yeah.
I did pick up Seven of Cups, which for me is if you're not dreaming about mitts, you will be, and those are visits. So.
Hmm.
But what's common is often if we are in heavy grief, they'll often visit other people before us because our grief is acting as like the noise to signal. So if
Mm.
you're worried about that, I would say don't worry about that. There will be a connection in your dreams, maybe once when some of the grief has subsided a little bit, and
Hmm.
you're kind of working through that loss. And my total condolences. I'm sorry. Mitzi Kitty.
Oh, what a sweetheart. Okay. Well, CEV, come back and let us know how you're doing. And we're sending you lots of love on your grief journey.
Yeah.
I'm still undergoing mine. We never quite get over it.
Nope.
They're that special. Okay. So our next question is Christine. So let me find your question, Christine. All right, there she is. A reading as to whether I should get another contractor company, Cornerstone, to do the necessary repairs form for an insurance claim or stay Myron. I'm not sure what Myron means. If you can let us know what that means, but that is pretty specific. We appreciate that,
So
Christine.
it's like, should I stay the course or should we add another contractor in order to do the repairs? Okay.
Well, I got a couple of cards, and the
Mm.
first one I got was the 11th house. So reach out to your tribe, and if you have an older brother that works in construction, this is the house of elder siblings. So reach out to that really pentacles driven person in your tribe. This is someone who is a master of the material. Okay. They also may understand a little bit more about what's going on with insurance and things like this. It could be an earth sign like a Taurus or a Virgo, possibly a Capricorn. The reason I say that is this is not really the time to make a decision. I got the Hermit. So they're asking you to sit in meditation, sit in solitude, and um, come from a place within, because your current dilemma, it's going to require your undivided attention and commitment, and it could involve something new that you maybe not be seeing. So in sitting in seclusion, that can give you opportunities for learning, for growth, for acquiring wisdom. I suggest you go and you do some deep dive, some research, like a Virgo would do in this. Maybe study a little bit more into this, because there's a mastery inside of you that can propel you to the next level. And then being around someone in your tribe that already has these traits can bring them out of you. So they're saying that, yeah, an elder, a mentor, or someone that kind of understands a little bit more about this than you do can help you make a better decision moving forward. But you're going to have to come from a place of introspection in order to reach this conclusion.
So I have a question. What deck is that has the puppy with the Hermit card? What deck is that?
Oh, this is the after tarot.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh, it's so cute.
yeah. Thank you. I
Wow,
like it
I love
too.
it. Yeah, now I need to
Mhm.
get it. Oh man. So I feel like Christine that this is an if then this scenario. And I feel like what you have in place isn't too bad, but I feel on their end, there's a number of complicating factors. Therefore, should it feel like you're not really being heard, that the work is taking longer than it should, and you start to experience the feelings of frustration, Seven of Pentacles,
Mhm.
then definitely add someone else to the roster. And with that, it looks quite successful. Then we have the Sun card. Yay, that's always good. And Six of Wands, which is success. So if you've already been in this place of like something feels off or there's a frustration element, um, trust your gut. I think we've been saying that a lot tonight.
Mhm.
But that this is the key indicator within yourself to know it's time to deploy other forces. So that's my very simple answer for you tonight. And it looks like whatever you're creating is really going to be very beautiful. So have fun with the journey.
Oh, I love that. That's great news, Christine. And Myron is the name of the insurance and gave a budget. Okay. Well, yes,
Ah,
there you go. Well, thank you for the that information. Thank you, thank you. And then CED says, "Sweet and thank you." You're so welcome.
aw,
Lots of love
Kitty.
to you and Mittens. Yeah. Oh. Okay. Let's see. Our next question, and I'm not getting stuff through PayPal in my email. So if you guys did tip, let Jonathan know and he'll put you in the private chat, okay? Mercury's in Gandanta today, so not all of the electronics and systems are working. We've been dealing with this morning. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and get to Rachel because I know that you said that let's see, what are you? There you are. I decided to stay here. That's in her current place of living until the spring because of finances, stress, and grief, but I'm still second guessing. I'm wanting to move forward. Any cards that would are greatly appreciated. So Rachel has a karma in her chart that is causing her to move from place to place to place because each of her landlords are causing issues. It could be like gas, and it's big stuff like the water not working or gas coming out
Oh,
of the oven or mentally ill people upstairs until 3 in the morning screaming. I mean, this poor woman has just been through the gamut. And I looked at her chart and I found it, but it's not going to clear up until mid-January. And so that's kind of what's going on here.
so is the question essentially, was it a good call to stay until spring? Do I understand that question?
Yeah, if you can clarify, that would be wonderful, Rachel. Thank you,
And
sweetie.
and while you do that, I'll answer your other question, Rose. I saw it that why can I read for others and not myself? Oh boy, yes, like that.
That's a
Because
good one.
I truly believe that tarot at heart, it came from a game from the Middle Ages where we all played together, and it is for us to serve one another and to make
Mm.
friends and to be in community. But many readers are very introverted. And so I think that's part of it.
Mhm.
Also, when you're too close to something, you can't see it um,
Mm.
because you don't have that objectivity in order to determine what is this really telling me. So having a second pair of eyes is so helpful. That even happens to me. Like if I'm too close to something, I'm like, this makes no sense to me whatsoever. Um, and I feel like that might mean it's time to phone a friend who can read and who can be that person for you.
Sure. Thank you so much, Rachel. And I'll go ahead and get to the second question. I decided to stay here. Okay. So I got Rahu in the sun. Okay. So this tells me this is an eclipsed sun. So you're not feeling the best, but you did make the right decision because you realized that this was karmic. Okay. Um, I asked for a little bit more clarification for you, Rachel, not a clarifier card. It's in the same reading. I got the Three of Cups reversed. Okay. So this is all about keeping it simple, exercising moderation during this time. Yeah, I know you don't feel like you have a lot to celebrate by making this decision because things aren't really going your way, but it's important to just kind of, they're saying, rein in your enthusiasm, cut back on anything extravagant right now, because any kind of indulgence is not going to be supported because of this weird karma going on. I mean, you've been going through it, and my heart really goes out to you. So your plans for celebration are not going to materialize at this time. You're not going to be successful moving forward. So you did make the right decision in just kind of staying put and keeping things really, really simple. You might want to consider making a to-do list under the title Celebrate, and then try to appreciate the true riches in your life. Try to write things that you really, really love down. This could be especially helpful just before the eclipse on the 18th, because we're really going to be feeling this energy today. And just to let everybody know, if you're feeling a little hyper aware or emotional, the moon is crossing over the Hasta eclipse that we had last October. So that could be something else. Now, I know that you're also in the military and you're dealing with some party people that are overindulging and doing things like that. So try to practice patience with those people, especially if they're overdoing it and coming in hangover to the band and things like that. Because in you embracing moderation, you're serving as an example for the younger kids that are maybe not making the best life decisions or health decisions right now. So try not to be too judgmental, and just try to be an example instead when it comes to dealing with the people at work, because they're bringing that up too. All right, sweetie. And I know you're not getting enough sleep, so because yeah, I can definitely, you're definitely not getting enough sleep. So they're saying any kind of music that you can listen to that calms you, because you are a musician. It could be even Salvagio. 532 hertz might be helpful, especially before you go to sleep. When I was in college, I had a lot of party people when I was an RA on my floor, and I listened to Enya every night, and that helped me kind of like push through all the stuff. So all right, sweetie. I know that's personal. I messed up.
Oh, you're
Genesis, not to
fine.
mention personal, but that's
Um,
just something that worked for me. I hope that was
yeah,
helpful.
yeah,
So.
no, no, it's your journey. I did pull for you, so I took this as like, should I stay, or what do I need to know about staying
Yeah.
until spring? And I did get the Empress reversed, which
Hmm.
is for me like there needs to be like a self-care inventory that you need to be taking, and maybe investing in and implementing some self-care practices around dealing with what is until you can get out. And we have Six of Swords reversed, which for me is a pretty strong message of like, this isn't the energy or the time to move. But there is a feeling of really taking this time to do some homework on the next leap. I do feel that something may come up or be offered to you in the interim that you may take as a sign of, oh, maybe I should go before spring, or I have this other opportunity. I want you to be very skeptical of that, and really, really do your homework, and really suss it out. Like, is this really for me? Because this is saying don't leap before you look, and be very, very careful of what comes as an invitation to you before the energy is more conducive for that move for you.
That fits in with Rachel's chart. Don't leap before you look. Rachel, I know you identify as a Taurus moon in Western. In Vedic, you are Aries, and it's conjunct the North Node, which causes eclipses. So it expands your obsession with this. So taking time to sit in meditation and come from a calm place instead of leaping right in or making an impulsive decision that's really good advice. Thank you so much, Jenna.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So just to let everybody know, we have Susan C, and then Nalima, and then Fun Boy. And then we're going to see if we have any time for lightning round, but I want Jenna to come back, so we're not going to go too late. Okay. So let's see. You saw a condo. It was beautiful today. Oh, well, I'm sorry, sweetie. My friend who's in Aries wanted me to take this place over the weekend. I told him no. He's very impulsive. So there you go. That's what Jenna was tapping into. All right. Very good. Okay, Miss Susan. In spite of some unexpected bad health news, I'm sorry, sweetie, I had some amazing blessings of late. That's wonderful. Okay. Mountain Grove and Cloudly B&B is under contract. Congratulations. Thank you for texting us about that. That's wonderful news. I have a surgeon to talk to. My beloved favorite healer has agreed to help me. How can I best maximize these opportunities to gain the improvements I desire? So life improvements coming your way in the form of health and the sale of a property that she's had since the 90s.
Oh, wow.
90s. Yeah, she's had this bed and breakfast for a long time. So.
Okay, cool. That's a good question. Let me see.
All right.
I know you pull ahead, so go for it, and I'll.
Oh, okay. So one of the main things they're saying, Susan, is they're really appreciating some of the spiritual work that you're doing. It's expanding your headset. It's putting you in a really great space. They love all of the singing you're doing, because I did get Mercury. Okay, that is you putting that beautiful expansive spiritual energy into action. But the main thing that they're showing me is that with the ninth house and the second house together, they really want you to look at the second house is not just finances, it's also food. So this is a double reading for you. The second house, they want you to pay attention to your diet, and they also want you to pay attention to how the various financial aspects of the transaction regarding the bed and breakfast. Okay, so that's a double. And they're asking you to use your intellect to power through these opportunities and maximize them to your best potential. So I said, how can, again, I'm adding to the question. This is something that Jenna teaches in her book. So I said, how can Susan maximize the opportunities using her intellect? Because that's what showed up. That was Mercury. And I got the Ace of Swords, which is a great intellectual card. This is all about triumph of concentration, brilliance, uniqueness, force, and purpose. So focus is key. They're really having you focus, focus, focus. Now, this card does wield a double-edged sword because it represents both attack and defense. So overall, the overall influence is very positive. Just be cautious of spreading yourself too thin with too many new ideas and goals, because you have a lot packed into that question. You're worried about your health, that there's this huge sale going on that's going to require a lot of that you're very attached to emotionally, because my heart space kind of clenches when I think about the property. But you are very determined to triumph over any challenges that are coming across with this transaction, in addition to your health journey as well. So standing up for your deeply held principles will leave a mark. And if you can kind of cut through the illusions that come through the way that may have clouded your judgment from the past and clear away some old stagnant ways of doing and being, that's going to make room for new growth and beginnings. So making small little changes to your diet, to your routine, to your daily activities to improve your health, to improve your emotional well-being. Only then can your unique plans and strategies come to fruition, and you can really focus. A really good book that I'm reading right now, Susan, that's helping me with concentration, it's a very Ace of Swords book, is Concentration and Meditation by Swami Sivananda. You can get this online. It's free. If you just type in Concentration and Meditation PDF free, it should be on the first page of Google. So that's just a resource that you can use. What will help you do is give you a number of exercises to help better get to this this beautiful Ace of Swords, one-pointed mind, because they're showing, I tapped into your headspace, and it's like there's a lot of rooms in there and it's full of stuff. So they're saying to just focus on one thing at a time. Okay, don't focus on the whole elephant, focus on the toe, and then work your way from there. Because you're trying to take on the whole thing at once, and you do have this big, expansive, amazing soul, but you're stuck in this limiting adjunct, which is the mind and the body, and they're asking you to take small steps, okay, and do so mentally. That book is going to really help you and change the way that you're focusing things too. And you got to sing today. That's wonderful. I love hearing that. That's a great way to kind of step outside of the stress as well. So all right. I hope that was helpful, Susan. And I love that you went to a Sivananda retreat, Rachel. That's amazing.
So I pulled some cards as well, and a couple of things came up. I really I see these both came up as reversals, but they came very loudly for me in terms of advice of how do I maximize these good blessings. And we have Ace of Pentacles reverse, so we have two aces. That means it's very, very important what's going on, right? Like all those aces showing up. And I feel like that, and then I got Knight of Cups reversed, and these two together, and then along with Two of Cups, so upright. So what really spoke to me in this was, please, please, please guard your energy and your resources. When we've been under illness for a long time or strain, there's a tendency to want to catch up the moment we feel a little bit better. And so my advice to you is, don't let your desire and impatience to like do all the things now that you can take away the gains that are happening. It's really still continuing self-care, not over functioning, over giving, rescuing, all of that stuff. We got to fill your cup first, because I just saw that Knight of reverse. I was like, she's not maybe so great at filling her cup first, like other people get it. And I want you to give yourself a little more time, fill up a little bit higher with these blessings before you start doing what you normally do, which is give. And that's the advice.
Yes, and Susan is an incredible giver, so you definitely tapped right into that. Thank you so much, Jenna, and we hope that was helpful, Susan. We're sending you lots of love. You've got a lot of things on your plate right now. Definitely be gentle with yourself as you make those changes ahead, and I'm sending you lots of love as you go through that. And Jonathan is too. He really appreciates you sharing the good news about Mountain Grove, and we're sending you blessings there. All right. Okay, so our next question, and we're just doing tippers first, and then we're going to get to a couple others if we have time. We have the lovely Lalima, and then Fun Boy. And Keith, I did see your question. Jenna is not doing mediumship readings, so if you need something more specific to tarot, go ahead and ask that. Okay, sweetie? All right. So let me find Lalima's question. Okay, general reading for my guides. Okay. Okay, so Lalima, if you can be a little more specific, that can help us get to the root of the question as well. Good to see you, Ange. Welcome, honey. All right, that's wonderful, Rachel. Thank you.
I can do a general reading for the
Okay.
guides.
Okay, sounds good.
So we have the World card, we have Page of Pentacles, and we have Ace of Wands. So the message from your guides is this: you are still learning, you're still a student, and there is a whole new layer to the spiritual journey that you're making in terms of the lessons that you're taking in and learning to work with. And there's a sense of like another round of that before you really level up into some area of mastery or area of manifestation with that Ace of Wands. So I think that's the big message here is continue to be a student to life. And there's a little bit still ahead before you're going to get into that outward energy of the manifestation. So I hope that's helpful for you.
Oh, great, Lalima. And that does kind of go in with my cards. I know that you just started a job at a new hospital, so congratulations on that. I did get that there might be a missed opportunity that might have come across because I got the Three of Wands reversed. That was my first card, and it came up in the past position. So there's a lot of positive influences around you, but don't underestimate the importance of actively pursuing opportunities as they come, and don't ignore any promising prospects, and make sure that you seize them with enthusiasm. The reason I think you might have passed up on something is I got Judgment reversed. Okay. Don't let any kind of criticism get under your skin. Okay. Regarding this, it's crucial to seek forgiveness right now. Not only forgiving others for any real or perceived harm that they cause, but also forgiving yourself for falling short of your own expectations. So if you're stuck in a situation that seems a little unchangeable right now, breaking free can be challenging, and your desire to change might be uncertain about how to bring it about. So honesty about your true self and your desires on how to move forward is essential to avoid self-deception and any excuses. Otherwise, they're just going to hinder your path to success. So if there's an inner critic in there, know that that's the harshest judge of during this time. That's that inner one that we kind of need to balance out. You might feel a little indecisive and regret not rising to this challenge that happened in the past. So don't berate yourself for any past mistakes, and don't let them undermine your self-esteem. The future card that I got for kind of pulling through this is I got the Two of Cups. There's someone in and around your environment that is like a divine compliment. There's someone who they see eye to eye with you on an emotional level, and ask them to give you a really good hug and maybe talk through your situation emotionally. They might even have a pet that jumps up on your lap and gives you some love too. But you need to, this is my card for Jonathan and I, because we have Rosie. She's our little white dog, and we also love kitties. And whenever he needs a hug and I pull this card, I will put the card down, even if he's in his office, and I'll go and I'll give him a big hug. Okay. So go find that person in your life and just get that comfort that you need. Okay. And know that we're not using our best judgment. It usually comes from, that inner critic or something that might have blocked that from happening. Okay, sweetie. So I hope that was helpful, honey. And come back and let us know how you're doing. It's always an honor to read for you, Lalima. Okay, so our next tipper is Fun Boy. Let me find okay, he's got a haunted doll question. Okay, Fun Boy. How are my haunted dolls doing? All right, fun boy.
They're a haunting. I don't know, man. They're a haunting. They are a haunting. I'll let you go away with that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's fine.
I don't
So
need them
let's
to come
see.
visit me.
Yeah, let's see here. Okay. Okay. You need to get out and see the sun a little bit more. Okay. I feel like you've been inside a little too long. Okay, fun boy. That's the main thing that I'm getting. The main reason I say this is just because it's still nice outside. What are you doing inside? You're also creeping out your roommates a little bit. I'm just going to be honest with
Oh
you.
wow.
Yeah, I know that they said you're especially one of them. They're not really. So I'm just letting them. I'm just I'm just being
Yeah.
real.
Yeah.
You are an intuitive. Okay, I did get the King of Cups, so that's good. All right. But you might want to like get out a little more because it's getting a little weird in there. Okay, because I did tap in and it's you're kind of feeling your emotions a bit much. Okay, fun boy. Seeing if you made any questions here. No. All right. Um, the reason I say that you need to get out is I got the Hermit reversed. Okay. Have some time with
Oh.
your friends, maybe take the dog for a walk, do something to kind of get you out of the apartment because sitting in the apartment and talking to your haunted dolls might seem like fun, but it's important for you to get out and have some human interactions too. Okay, sweetie. I hope that was helpful. And if you can let me know if we were on track, that's great. So,
I had a run-in, in Edinburgh. I went to the Childhood Museum years
mm-hmm,
ago, and they have a whole second floor of just dolls.
mm-hmm.
And people run through this, people like, "Ah!" freak out and they go because it's creepy. And I was
Okay.
by myself, and there was a Shirley Temple doll. It looked like one that my mother had, and it was the kind that, like, when they lay down and stand up, the eyes
Okay.
move. It was
Yes.
standing up, and it opened its eyes right in front of me, and I was like, "Oh boy, here we go."
Yeah.
And then I found in that room another case that had spirit dolls from Africa, which were hoodoo and voodoo. You're right. And within them were like boxes of captured spirits. And then there was another doll from, it was just like, this should not be here. They need to
Yeah.
send these home. And I was like, that's why this place is so active. Like, oof, dolls. Oh, they're,
Yeah.
woo, Jonathan, careful friend.
Yes, definitely be that there for sure. All right. Okay. So let's get to our next question. And do 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 do. All right, so we've got all of our tippers. If I missed your tip, please let me know. Okay, guys? And then we're going to go to lightning round real quick. That's just a quick card from Jenna and I to let you guys know. So you guys have to be here for lightning round. So I'm going to go ahead and name you. We have Joyful Journey, aka Jen. We have the lovely Miss Moonlight. Oh, I have not done anything with the deacons, but I have worked with the deacons with Amy a few times. So that's a really good question. Thank you, Miss Moonlight. All right, Debbie, are you here, Debbie? Michelle Foster. So we're looking for Jen, we're looking for Debbie, and we're looking for Michelle Foster. Are you here? Please check in. And because we're getting close to the hour and a half, I'm going to go ahead and close questions. Okay. So are you guys here? Oh, okay. We just had a tip come in. Tess Marigold. Okay.
She got in on fire.
Yeah. So no one has checked in yet. So we're just going to go ahead and do Tess. All right. So, so next is Keith, Jones, Luis, and Mary while we do Tess. Okay.
I feel like this question is too vague and slightly dangerous, and I want more information before I read on it.
That's wonderful. Okay, Tess Marigold. How is Coral? Where is she? I hope that's not too vague. Yes, it's a little too vague. If you can give us a little more, what specifically would you like to know, Jenna?
Well, are you alluding to someone on the other side or here?
Mm-hmm.
Or are you not sure? Like, that's what I would want to know.
Oh, I'm glad I'm right, fun boy. Yeah, be nice to your roommate, sweetie. Not everybody can handle the haunted dolls. You think they're fun, but okay. Well, I'm getting Leo and Virgo. Leos are all about taking stage, shining their light, leadership, creativity. We've got the moon just moved out of Leo and into Virgo today, so that's something. That's where the eclipse just happened. It was in Hasta Nakshatra last October. So I don't know if you're picking up on some of the eclipse energies, Tess, but you can be a little more specific. We can give you more of a reading, okay? I know you just answered your question. You were just in the chat, so otherwise I'm going to have to give you a general. It's not going to be as specific. Let's see if you're over here.
I pulled some cards for the other three that you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
So okay. I have those out.
Okay, we can do that for sure. All right, so Joyful Journey. Is that what you're talking about? Okay.
Yeah, the three you did. What is coming for me in my career? Boy, I feel like Five of Cups. I know that's not the card you want to see, and I don't want to give you this card, but I feel like when I look at this card, really for me, the message is there could be a loss of a project or some loss, some win you didn't get at work, and the message is don't dwell on that. Because if you over focus on that, you may miss some new opportunities that are coming. So I think there is going to be a loss, but that's okay. Just, hit the ground running, take a day off to really feel a loss on that, and then know that there's two more coming. But we don't want to keep this energy going by focusing on it too much. That's what I got for you, for your career.
Okay, well, thank you so much. We hope that was helpful, Jen. And she says, I'm here. All right, awesome.
Yay.
Hi, Celtic Seer. Good to see you. All right, so I'm not getting anything back from you, Tess.
Oh, no.
So I guess you can get Debbie next, and then we'll just wait. Tess, if you're here, please come in. Okay.
Ooh, yes. Magician. Absolutely. And oh wait, no, my bad. This is Temperance. My bad. Sorry. Temperance. So Temperance is yes, but don't be like me and ad hoc post. Don't be like me, right? So Temperance is like have a plan, stick to it, like know what your themes are going to be, like be consistent. Don't be like me. But when I see that table, I just see all of the things on the table. And I really feel that you're very good at connecting with people when they're in pain and holding space for that. That's something I think is a particular talent of yours, as well as just really creative problem solving. And I think if you lead with that, you're going to do quite well, and people will benefit from that.
Okay, that's a great read. Thank you so much, Jenna. And we hope that was helpful, Debbie. 3 Shifting Veils. Come back and let us know how you're doing. And yes, they did belly dance, the name. 3 Shifting Veils.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a beautiful
cool
name. Yeah, it really is. All right, Tess. So I'm going to go ahead and give you a general because you haven't checked in. How is Coral and where is she? I hope that's not too vague. Okay. The overall energy that I got was I went ahead and just tapped. I didn't to not. How do I say this? Actually, you're right, Jen. I'm gonna need Jen. I'm gonna need a little bit more information here because if she's on the other side, I don't want to give this reading.
Yeah, there's something that feels that was my gut on this. Like
yeah, because I'm looking at the cards and going. I mean, if the general for you, then I'm comfortable doing it. But you need to let us know a little bit more about Coral before we're able to really jump in.
Yeah.
You're here. Yeah. Good. Okay. So please,
please
add a little bit more, Tess, and we can give you a little bit more there. She's on the other side.
She's on the other side.
Can you tell me the date that she passed away?
Mm-hmm.
If you're comfortable, because what that helps me determine is what plane she's in. We can do that in Joy Tish. And I'm not going to get too specific because I want to honor her as a spirit. She's definitely re-examining a lot of things on the other side, so that tells me she might be on the south path. So.
Oh yes, yeah. Okay, it's pretty.
Okay, so she went just before the eclipse. That was what I was wondering. All right, so, all right. the main energy that and I'm not a psychic medium, I'm just looking at my cards, okay? I got Leo and Virgo, okay? So this is all about examining the ego on the other side and re-examining her goals. The Leo is all about how we shine in the world, and Virgo is all about basically it's that self-examination. They're the bureaucrats. Those are the people that are dotting those I's and crossing those T's for us, keeping the fences up, keeping the waste disposal departments going, things that are necessary in our lives. Those are our lovely Virgos. The reason I think that she's re-examining her goals on the other side is I got the Four of Cups reversed. Okay. She's taking a lot of time out for emotional introspection, for solitude. She's going to reshape her next birth on Earth. Now, she passed just before the eclipse hit the United States that caused Project 2025 to come out. So she is not really joining a lot of social activities on the other side because she's spending a lot of time reassessing her personal values and the way that she feels about what's coming to Earth, specifically North America. She's not postponing the process of reevaluation because she realizes that it can cause more pain when she takes on another incarnation. Okay. She's trying to avoid fixating on circumstances that were beyond her control that came to pass. Her emotions are shifting, and she's acknowledging and addressing the changes that are happening now that she's out of the physical body. And she's reevaluating her commitment to a very specific relationship that she had. She's not ignoring it. She's not obsessing about it. She's seeing it in its reality. There was some stressful communication that happened in the family that she's also reevaluating. Okay. And she's very cautious of the instability that is arising within the family after she left and within her friendships and circles and connections. So she's identifying where she went astray. She's determined to make necessary changes in her next incarnation and then learn to better stick to her decisions moving forward and learning from her mistakes. Okay. The reason I say that is I did get the Queen of Wands reversed. So she's being kind of critical with herself up there. Now, she is a beautiful Queen of Wands, but she's choosing to take her evaluation phase to not waste her potential in the next incarnation. Okay, she's being very proactive. Are you picking up on that, Jenna? Or
yeah, like everything you're saying makes sense. Like in my private practice, I don't do readings if someone's passed within 6 months because it's a lot of what you're seeing, which is like,
yeah,
I'm kind of in a reentry camp.
That's what she's
And
doing.
yeah, and it's hard to grab them. Like they're not kind of ready to speak. They're still in that review process.
She's literally showing me homework that she's doing. Like,
yeah, and not ready until like that happens. And so that makes a lot of sense to me, what you're saying, for sure. Absolutely.
okay. So we're going to leave her alone, but know that she is learning on being a better leader. She's going to work on being a little excessively, demanding. She's going to work on earning the admiration of people in and around her and not necessarily pushing their buttons or being manipulative in the next birth. So she's learning quite a bit on the other side. Okay. And she's also not allowing others to do that to her, to steal her fire or her passion or her joy.
Yeah,
okay, sweetie.
she's okay. Curl's okay.
She's an evaluating place. Yeah. So thank you for that, Jenna, for your mediumship advice. I really appreciate that. So we're going to leave her alone. We hope that was helpful, Tess. Okay, so let me go on to our next lightning round question. And questions are closed, as you guys can see in the banner. We want Jenna to come back, and we're already an hour and 22 in. I try to keep it below 90 minutes. Okay, so our next lightning round question is Michelle Foster. Hello, I want to know what you can see in regards to love and relationship for me. Okay, that's a little broad. If you need any extra, Jenna, please feel free to ask. You're very welcome, Tess. We hope that was helpful. And it's good to see you, Jeff. Welcome.
I feel like what I'm getting here in this deck is 6 of Cups. And that came to me, it's raining man, hallelujah. I'm like, look at all those flowers. But I think it's a time to, so if it's been like, I let them find me, but I only go home in the grocery store, like, right? Like what I do. It's time to make yourself visible so that attention can come to you, but then you get to decide with your boundaries and your words and your wisdom what you wish to invite in and entertain. So I feel like there is a little bit of kind of the haystack and kind of like allowing yourself a little bit of that action. So there's a reversal. It feels like a reversal of polarities between maybe where you've been. But in of itself, there's not one person that kind of emerges from this. To me, it's a bit of a logistical. How are you approaching this in order to receive? And also, don't waste your time trying to give to those who won't receive. Like, that's also a part of this. There may be someone, a blast from the past, that might show up with that Six of Cups as nostalgia. But I feel like I don't see a lot of like legs on that and the possibility of that. So enjoy that, but I wouldn't put all your eggs in that basket if that's coming up for you.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Michelle, for joining us. And we hope that what question was helpful for you. Come back and let us know how you're doing. I'm going to get to Keith, and while I'm doing Keith, is Luis and Mary here. Those are our last two questions. All questions are closed because we want to end on the hour and a half. So Keith, will my birthday be good for October 5th? Okay, Keith. I got that you're doing a little too much right now. Okay, hun. So the first thing I got was first I got Venus, and then I got Moon, and then I got Leo, and then I got Virgo. So you've got a lot of expectations for your birthday party this year, and they're a little unreasonable. Okay, you've got some emotional expectations. You have some, there's a lot of ego behind this. Okay. So what they're asking you to do is just kind of take a step back, because I did get these Seven of Pentacles and it came up reversed. It indicates that your expectations may have been a little unreasonable. So just remember that life holds no guarantees. It can be disappointing when people close to us fail to keep their promises. Okay. So if someone broke a promise to you, whether it's due to mischief or simply just a difference in perspectives, their actions might be leaving you feeling a little hurt or confused. So there might also be a lack of resources on their side to make things happen. Okay, so do take that into consideration. But one of the main things that I tapped into when I felt this energy, it was like a broken promise energy, is that you might be carrying around a fear of failure that makes you hesitant to put in some of these efforts yourself. Okay, try to avoid any kind of pessimistic thinking in and around your birthday, because it's only going to make things not really work for your best or highest good. And to overcome this frustration, just acknowledge a few things. Frustration stems from us feeling ungrateful or powerless. So thinking that your best efforts are going unnoticed isn't the best way moving forward. Just try to be aware of the presence of a particularly frustrating or cynical individual and their influence on your emotions, and set some appropriate boundaries with yourself and with that person, and practice forgiveness at the same time, especially if they broke their promise for one reason or another. There's actually more than one that's going on there. Okay. I wish you a very happy birthday, but just be aware that frustration is try to forgive and let that person go a little bit, because they've got some stuff that they're going through. Okay. And I did not get anything else other than that. Okay, Keith.
Yeah, real quick lightning round. I did get Queen of Cups right, but I really feel like you're the queen. It's your day. And your birthday is going to be what you make it. But I agree with Michelle that I feel like there are others who maybe they promise something, or you were expecting more, and it doesn't feel like they're going to come through as much as you'd like. But make it you celebrating you and taking care of yourself, and spoiling yourself a little bit. And I think you'll have a nice birthday.
Sending you lots of love, Keith. Okay, are Luis or Mary here? You are our last two questions that came in before we cut everyone off for the end there. Luis is here. Okay. Did you check in, though? Let me see. Luis, can you please check in? And Mary, can you please check in? Because these are very general questions, and we're going to need a little bit more for you.
Luis and Mary, they're both here.
Oh, Mary. Okay, wonderful. So we'll do Luis first. There we go. And it's, may I get a message, please? Can you be a little more specific, Luis, on what you would like the message to be about? I can go to my karma cards and ask them. That's what I usually do when it comes to, you want to try to rush things. Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
You want to min-max that special day.
Okay, they're calling you to focus on something, Luis, because I did get Sagittarius. This could also be the energy in and around you. So if you can be a little more specific, that can help Jenna and I better answer your question. Okay.
Yeah, for these, especially for these one card lightning rounds, something a little more a topic.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You'll come away really feeling I really got something I can work with, rather than like, I wonder what that's about.
Yes.
New path, dire ruin, spiritual transformation. Okay. All right.
You got it.
Something.
Well, they want you to focus on your path, Luis. So that's the main thing that I got. Also, the main thing they're saying about your path is don't cry over spilled milk, because I got the 4 of Cups. Okay. If you're feeling bored, confused, or even a little disillusioned about the direction of your spiritual path, it's time for some well-considered changes. Take a moment of introspection to rejuvenate your spirit and gain a new perspective regarding your path forward. So there's no use dwelling in past unhappiness or trauma, which is what brings a lot of us to these practices. Leave any mistakes, whether made by you or someone else, in the past. Now is a time to reflect, accept the truth, and move forward. So if you're spending time in reevaluation, don't stress about the outcome. And while other people's opinions matter, what truly counts is how you value and you see yourself. So don't let any complaints or dissatisfaction distract you from making these changes. Rise above them and try to avoid being a victim of regret, because that can seep in. Okay. There's something in there saying, I told you so, from an old friend or family member regarding a recent failure, and it's undermining your confidence. So don't waste any time fretting over those perceived mistakes, and just learn from them moving forward. One did fly out in addition, even though it's one card. Maybe take a class and consult an expert on the topic, and they can maybe help you change your mind. This is someone who's been in practice for a long time. We have a teacher right here.
Well, okay. Yeah, I want to add to that, because that Hierophant, I think, is also speaking of what I'm seeing in 4 of Pentacles, but I'm not going to read 4 of Pentacles in the regular way. I'm going to read it intuitively, because I want you to look behind this guy. You have 2 buildings with faces looking at each other, and this feels like they are watchtowers. There is some kind of test coming for you, and you need to show up and show out. And I feel like there's been a bit of a passive positioning as you've been maybe taking stuff in. So when I saw that Hierophant, I was like, yeah, like that's the guy you go to, right? He's also, traditionally, he holds the keys. He's the key, the gatekeeper in some way, and that there is a gatekeepery moment coming for you, where it's like you have to speak the magical password to get to the other side. Like when I looked at that image, do you guys remember that movie in the 80s, and it had the luck dragon? What was the movie called?
Never-ending Story.
Yeah.
The Never-ending Story.
Yeah. So as I was looking at those 2, it reminded me of the watchtowers with the Sphinx.
And then they had the laser eyes.
Right. Like there's some trial that needs to be, like, there's a test that you have to pass in order to get to the other side. And I don't think you're aware of it yet, because it's behind you. But I feel like reviewing some of the stuff you've already covered, or ground that you thought you covered in a cyclical manner, may get you to this threshold moment faster. I hope that's helpful. Oh, hey, Tracy. So yeah, that's the vibe. That's the deal. I hope that's helpful.
Right. Thank you so much. And just to let everybody know, we've been on for over an hour and a half, so questions are closed. But we are, Jenna is going to be doing an amazing Tarot archetypes on grandparents tomorrow. So definitely check that out. And I'm on every single Wednesday, same time, 4 o'clock Pacific. So, and you can also get readings from us as well. So thank you for joining us. Even if you came a little late, we really appreciate your energy. So Mary, you are our final question. All right. I'm wondering how soon surgery is necessary or optimal. Okay, so I got first house. This is all about your physical body. So I'm
Mm,
glad that's a good thing to get. You need to
mm,
put yourself first when making this decision is the first thing that I got. Uh, but I didn't get the best card, and I'm going to explain this a little bit. Okay, you need to avoid being your own worst enemy. Okay, reflect on this question a little bit. Are you your own worst enemy? Stand up for yourself without resorting to any kind of deceit. Okay, belief in your ability to change and consider the vibes that you emit to others. Are they positive? Are they negative? Okay, I tapped into you a little bit. I felt isolated. I felt restricted. I felt a little inert. Okay, that's only going to worsen your situation and feed a negative self image. And so I looked in the mirror and I felt that you don't really see yourself as the beautiful person that you are. Okay, Mary. Um, you need to start reflecting on your faults without berating yourself and identify areas of improvement without being so hard on yourself, sweetie.
mm,
Okay, resist the temptation to deceive or manipulate yourself into doing things by emanating these types of vibes because it's only going to lead to regret. Okay, opposition always hinders progress. Just know that. So reevaluate your opposition at this time regarding the surgery, and know that you have accumulated a lot of negative energy from your past, and it's detrimental if it's not left unchecked. So don't underestimate the toxic impact of this energy because it is affecting your health. Okay, so that's the main energy that I did get from this, but you need to ward off some negativity, turn that opposition into an advantage, even though it's not a very easy concept to embrace. And they're saying that a lot of this is self inflicted. Okay. So show others that you can stay positive and avoid resorting to lying to yourself a little bit when it comes to your health. Okay. I know you're wondering how soon it's necessary or optimal, but the main thing that your guides are saying is there was a really good, okay, they're showing me this. There was a really good YouTube video that came out about a neurosurgeon who quit being a neurosurgeon and moved up to the woods up here in Washington State. And he is a whole channel on mind body wellness. And it was about how he stopped doing surgeries and he stopped doing a lot of the things that he was doing because he found that most of his patients could have cured themselves if they'd simply changed certain aspects of their lifestyle. So, obviously, listen to your doctors, listen to your medical professionals, and things like that. But really take a look at yourself and say, how am I lying to myself regarding my health? Am I making excuses? What can I do to make things better? Because what surgeons do is they fix the acute problems and the symptomatic problems, but if there's a leak in the roof, which could be caused by lifestyle or maybe something that you're not paying attention to, it's only going to resurface or come back. So that's just something that I'm picking up on, and I'm sending you lots of love as you deal with that transition regarding the surgery.
So, Mary, I pulled one card for you and I got the star.
Oh, that's
And
beautiful.
yeah, and I really see this as it's really a matter of it's not so much necessary or optimal, but don't you want to feel better? Don't
Mm-hmm.
you want to feel better?
Mm-hmm.
And however that needs to be, I think if doing it sooner rather than later is going to take you to a place that really allows you this beautiful sense of like just finally peace of mind and that it's being dealt with, that really comes through. And I feel like this does feel like what I was actually getting was, I don't know if it's joint involved, but there's a movement piece to it and an inflammatory piece to it that I was getting. And we need to put the flames out like we see in that star card. Like literally the
Yeah.
angel is coming and like throwing some water on her. But I want you to be able to have this freedom of movement and peace. But sometimes it is a bottleneck with surgery too. So to Michelle's point, I think it could be a combination of both factors. Like really, what's going to bring me to a place of peace and freedom, and how do I need to get there as soon as possible? And all of the tools that will present themselves to me. And know that you're being protected. Like the star is very
Yeah.
angelic. That if there's a fear of surgery or a fear like, oh, like I feel like there's an extra message here saying like we've got you. Please don't worry about this. Like you will not, like, this is a good thing rather than an extra harm thing. I'm no doctor. Let me give you my medical my medical, like, disclaimer, but that's the energy that I perceive.
Okay. All right, Mary. And there, just go along with what Jenna said, is if you look at this card, it's the thief. So maybe going in and asking, what is stealing my health? What are the things that are making me feel yuck? Okay. I know that I'm going to give you a personal thing at the end here. This is something that I do. I have trigger foods, and so I keep a journal of the things that are triggering to me. Okay, so something like that, just simply writing down things that you may be doing after the fact that might be taking away from your vitality. Okay, Mary, we're sending you lots of love as you go through that. Surgery is never easy. Okay, we did it, Jenna.
Yay, we did it.
Yay. So, in addition to the show that you are doing tomorrow on the grandparent archetypes, is there anything else you would like to talk about? What's going on in your practice, things that the listeners can take advantage of as far as how to contact you and things that are coming up, exciting things?
Yeah, so there's the grandparents, and then 2 Thursdays after, I don't have my calendar with me. I'm going to be, so like right around the autumnal equinox, I'm going to do a guided meditation to meet the personification of justice, of the goddess of justice. So you get to meet her because that is about balance, right? It's that moment before the tipping point. And then we're going to talk about the cards that speak to balance. And then, of course, I have my class starting October 7th, Speaker of the Deck, which is just how to read fluently and read from a new perspective than we're often taught by traditional methods. So those are going on. And I do want to talk about like this exciting thing that I'm kind of working on right now. And I know we have a lot of readers here, so I want everyone to kind of like chew on this. What I'm gonna share. So whenever I read for someone, like a client who comes to see me, it's always 3 people in one that I'm reading for.
Mm-hmm.
And it is, oh yeah, Tracy, you're going to be in class. Yay, that's right. And you have the light of conscious self, which is the person in the body that has a name that's telling you whatever's going on. But they're often led there by their higher self or spirit self.
Oh.
And so spirit self is always trying to tell the light of consciousness, like you need to be aware of this thing, or you need to go in this direction, or you need to do this for your highest good. But then there's a third aspect, which is the shadow self, which is like resistance, but it is another consciousness of you that will show up and then hide and erase its tracks. So the conscious mind doesn't see it.
Ooh.
And so my work as a reader is to deploy not only what the cards are saying, but trying to get the conscious, light of conscious person in front of me to be able to take in what the higher self is dragging them to a reading to figure out or hear without triggering the shadow that will erase what I've just said.
The only other concept I've heard that's close to that is from Teal Swan, and she has a blind spot reading methodology, and she made an oracle regarding it.
Blind spot is a defense
total.
mechanism, like it's a psychological term, but this is something that's more conscious, and it's as conscious as you are, and it's an aspect of you.
Oh,
And
cool.
you can I'm now really able to see it, and if I catch it, and if the person I'm reading for is in a place where we can have that conversation, I can show them, because the shadow self will hide and it will literally erase its tracks. So for example,
so cool.
Oh, it's wild. Like, for example, let's say I had a reading for someone and they're talking about a bad relationship or something, and they use a word like, this person is abusive to me. And then I'll call it back later and go, but you said that person was abusive. This person like doesn't, they love that person, right? They're very of two minds. And then they will say, I didn't say that word. I didn't use that word. It's recorded. You absolutely did. So this shadow aspect can show up and literally rewrite objective reality as you're it's like changing the film as
I
you're
lost 6 friendships to that in the last year. to that
It's
thing.
wild.
I lost 6 friendships to that
Wow.
thing. I do
I'm
not
so
like that
sorry.
thing. Yeah,
No.
I'm really glad that you're addressing it in people because it is rampant in especially women, in my opinion. And I had to address it in myself when I was going through my divorce. So,
And yeah, and that's the thing is
wow.
we often it literally erases its own tracks. It will
Mhm.
poop in and out
Yeah.
almost as if you're being like for a second possessed by something else,
Yeah.
and then you don't even realize that the tape has been cut. And when I can see it and they're open, I point it out to them. Like, did you see what he just did right there? That was shadow. And then they'll go, holy shit. Like, so a
Yeah.
lot of my work now is playing around with this concept as a reader of how do I circumvent how the shadow shows up, to help the light of consciousness hear the higher self. And like, for example, if you do a reading, right, and you're like, yes, the reading is saying, for example, you know, I'm in a bad relationship, like,
Mhm.
it's going to work out. And you get like 10 bad cards.
Yeah.
And then they'll go, so you're saying I have a chance,
Oh god.
right? That's the
Yeah.
shadow. You see,
Yeah, it is.
it's rewriting objective reality to keep the status quo, which is toxic.
Yeah, it really is. And if you have a reader that's in a toxic dynamic and then you have a querent who's in a toxic dynamic, the reader is going to piggyback off of that same shadow. I've seen that in play too.
Oh yeah, if you're not like you, and it happens to me, it still
Mm,
happens. Like I'm not
wow.
past it. It's a constant process of self-monitoring. So I sometimes keep recordings for training purposes. Like I'm like,
Mm,
what just happened? Where did I and my shadow maybe show up, right? But
mhm.
it's really fascinating to watch it and to help people catch it, like, because it's like on the edge of perceptual awareness.
Interesting. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. That's so fascinating,
Isn't that
Jenna.
like,
So
yeah,
it
that's just
is. I
amusing. I'm like,
know.
oh, into right now.
Oh, and it's just that's okay. So we'll talk afterwards. But all right. And I'm gonna take care of that troll, guys. Don't follow them into the dark room. All right. So I will I'm gonna go ahead and close
Oh,
this
speaking of
off.
shadow, yeah, it showed
Yes,
up.
one just popped in and I can't get it. I have to go into Facebook to get him. So
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
ignore that person, guys.
Don't
All right.
aspire to be that
So
today. Anyway,
yeah,
sorry.
you're fine. So I'm going to go ahead and close this out. I want to thank Jenna Matlin for joining me today. For
Thank
anyone in the audience who does not have this book yet, it's
Aw,
in
thank
links in the
you.
description. Follow her; she's amazing. And I just want to thank you so much for being with me today. And I can't wait to have you on again. Thank you so
Oh
much,
gosh.
Jenna.
I
Yeah.
love hanging out. Thanks for having me, and nice to hang out with all of you in the chats.
Yeah. So please make sure to like and subscribe to Jenna's channel and check out our webpage. She's got a lot of great things going on, a lot of fun classes, and that last seminar that you're researching is just fascinating. I can't wait to hear more about it. So sending you guys lots of love and take care, everyone.
Bye.